Here we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Live, up and running. Lots of chat already this morning. What am I listening to my test with? I have headphones. They're right here. They're Audio Technica. I can't see the model number. Audio Technica Quiet Point. My laptop speakers are terrible. They're just terrible. So I don't test with that. And I've spent the last, nearly an hour testing, and I get nothing but perfect silence in my microphone. How is it now? The laptop fan is running, but it's not near me. That really probably, I'm sure, isn't an issue here at this point. The outside mic is on. Maybe there's a bit of a sound. As I sit here now, I can hear tick, tick, tick. Yeah, the laptop fan really is running quite heavily now. Obviously the problem was something, not the fans. It was a real high frequency problem. If I turn away from the laptop for a minute. I did find one issue when I was testing this morning, that whenever I touch the cables, for example, the cable here, the mic is a stereo mic. It's got a 4-pin 3.5 jack, so it allows for the microphone and headset combination. And there's an adapter partway along that changes it to a 3, which is what the camera needs. But if I touch that thing, that's where we get a hum. That's the human contact on that. Other than that, are we okay today? So I'm not going to touch the cord, Okay, let's do some printing. One more thing about the stream here. I didn't realize this. As part of the testing of this audio, I looked at a bit of the stream the other day, and there was a huge video problem. You couldn't see anything here. Whenever I put something down, the light coming from the window reflected so strongly that it was impossible to see what was going on here. I put the print down, I turned over the prints and stuff like this. I put the print and turned it over, and all you could see was a white sheet of paper because of the reflections. So remind me, let me know about stuff like this, please. Anyway, here we go. Okay, what am I doing? I thought I was going to be finished this on Thursday. On Thursday, I put the blue in on 16 of these sheets. Then once the stream was over, as you know, I had re-moistened the paper. I finished off the blue. The plan was the next day, Friday, to finish this thing. Didn't happen. Didn't even get closer. Didn't even get upstairs here. Too much stuff going on. It was FedEx Day, among other things. So another box of hundreds of prints has flown off to America yesterday afternoon. So that was yesterday's work instead. So today we're just going to continue the printing, which is disappointing for you guys. I don't know. I don't think so. What we're going to do is we're going to put in the black. And it probably won't take the whole stream. I don't know. We might do the same thing. I might just do the first 16 sheets and move on to the next color or something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So what we've got so far, we have 64 sheets now, all printed with the first color. The background color has gone in. Okay, I need some paste. Paste. How's your Japanese? How's your upside down Japanese? We can't use this stuff as it comes. It's too thick. And it's the same kind of paste that you get in those little plastic tubes to show. It's too thick as it comes out of the tube. That would give me tamari edge all around this, so it needs a bit of water. Yes, it's nori. It's Yamato nori, the product that's called Yamato nori. Yamato means Japan, nori is paste. It's available everywhere, all over the world. It's available in, your little local corner Chinese grocery stores and stuff like that. It's available everywhere. Even back when I lived in Vancouver in the 1980s, it was still there. It was okay. And it works perfectly. It works like a dream. Absolutely works like a dream. It does the job smoothly. It goes into the paper, carries the pigment through the paper, and it's got nothing in it that the bugs will enjoy eating later on. Okay, let's go. It's not going to need much, that's for sure. Okay, the pigment. The pigment is straight sumi. It's the type we were talking about it in the previous stream. It's called Kaimei Bokuju. I think somebody even linked it in the last stream. It's the kind of sumi ink that's used for calligraphy classes and people doing calligraphy. Beautifully rich black. Beautiful rich. Very thick. Just test here. This is what we did yesterday. It's a test sheet, what we did yesterday. And it looks good. It looks good. Let's start. And this is the setup. There's an in stack and an out stack. The thing in front of me is called the Maebako, the box in front of me. And this is called the Yokobako, the side box. And it's literally like anybody's office in tray and an out tray. The paper is face down in the in tray. We're not using any alcohol here, and we're not using any nikawa, any glue. Although when I say we're not using any alcohol, that's because the pigment already now is liquid. If we work with dry powder pigments, sometimes they need alcohol on them before they will dissolve in the water. But this one today is straight sumi pigment out of the bottle. We buy it in 2 liter bottles, 1.5 liter bottles. I can't remember. And we go through a couple of years of 2 liter bottles. Left Kento. This is dangerous. And this is pretty thin paper. You get a huge print through. Huge print through. And here's our print so far. Looking pretty good. I've got too much tamari. There's actually black glue on the edge there. Enough to come up on the tissue. That's too much. So I've got the mix a bit too thick. Sumi to dye your hair? I don't think so. Ishikawa-san is working here today. What's she doing right now? She'll be doing the key block printing for the 5th print in this year's series. And they're stacking heads and, I don't know if you can see it here, I'm sorry, the camera won't show everything. We're stacking heads and tails, heads and tails, heads and tails in the... And asking about the registration again here, I can mention something. This is not a tease, this is just a notification. The Cameron and Aoyama-san and Suga-san and Rei-chan have been, over the past some months, working in the background, starting the production, early production of another type of YouTube for us. So far we've had YouTubes that are Dave sitting talking, we show old prints, we have the stages of printing like the one we just did a while ago. There's a new type of video coming up from us over the next few months. More of a tutorial type video. There's lots and lots of demand for this, more of a tutorial type. We've tried to avoid actually sort of teaching woodblock printmaking, but there's clearly demand for it. And the reason I mention this now is because people have been asking, how do you do the registration? How do you do the registration? It's the single most common question from people who are stumbling on this for the first time. Obviously, it looks like magic. I just put the paper down and oh my God, it lines up. So one of the topics in this first video series, in this new video series that they're preparing, it won't be the first one, but one of the topics is a clean, clear explication of just how actually this thing works. The registration. So it is coming up. There will be a link for you. You know, it's not tomorrow. We're all stunningly busy right now, especially Cameron. He's just... It's been spring break. Kids are back in school from next Monday, or at least they're in the area where Cameron is. They're back in school next Monday. So for the past couple of weeks, Cameron has been trying to do work, busy with 2 kids at home, and I'm laughing. He's not been laughing, but it's okay. What about the audio now, Harvey? What about the audio? Are we okay, or do we have the same, Chicken Meister sending that link last time. How is it? Is it there now today? Because this is the same setup exactly that I used when I was here on Thursday morning. Nothing is different. I tested out and switched, and I brought the old mic back in and tried it, but the old mic is here. This is the same setup now exactly that I used on Thursday. Magic, black magic. And that's good news, but it's not good news. It means that it might still go wrong. I don't know. Have you tried turning it on and off again? Well, that's exactly what I did. I turned it off on Thursday when we were finished, and I've turned it on now for Saturday for starting here. Will the tutorial be with you? No, this is going to be the team. I am not actually involved in this. What they're doing, they're going to let me, they're going to let me see this before they put it up online, of course, and they're going to, talk to me. But this is part of the whole idea about bit by bit by bit working towards the future Mokuhankan. I am not involved with this project. Cameron and Suga-san and Dei-chan and Aoyama-san they're cooking it up, and they're going to do it by themselves. There's no David narration. There'll be no David introduction. You won't even see me. Well, I say qualify that. Maybe at some point, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe episode 5 will be me, and David will be the team member talking about that specific point. Then episode 6 will be Suga-san, the team member. So I'll be involved with it as one of the team people doing the explaining and teaching, but it's not my project. We have to wean people off the idea that every time YouTube comes up, it's something dramatic from Dave. Everybody here has got different stuff to do and share. I'm still going to be making my own videos, of course. The next one, I think, is part 3 for the beginning series, and then after that, it's the next David's Choice. So yes. The reason it's not there already is we have been stunningly busy. Pandemic? What pandemic? Cats, yes. Oh, just please, please, please. Cats number 3 is now waiting on my desk. It's waiting for me to work on the color separations. We have done a tentative color separation on it. We've carved 6 blocks for it, and we've done a test printing of cats number 3. And it's not ready. What we need to do now is look at that test printing and decide what more colors we need on it. Then also waiting for me is the color separation for number 6 in this year's series. The key block is now carved, and it's waiting for me to do the color separations. People spending their stimulus checks. Well, I don't know about that. All I do know is that we're steadily doing okay. There are lots of orders for our prints, lots of new subscribers from all over our normal. It's not all over the world. That's not true. It's America, Canada, Europe, all of Europe, Scandinavia, England, France, Germany, Sweden, whatever, all kinds of European countries. From Australia, we would normally have a lot, but right now there's a huge shipping problem still to Australia. So when people see the shipping notice there, they don't order so much. So I don't know if it's just stimulus checks. It's just that, whatever. People no longer are spending money on airplanes and stuff, so... we are doing very, very well. We've pretty much returned to pre-pandemic levels, even without the shop downstairs. And that has put much more stress on this room, on our printers, because our revenue before, pre-pandemic, was 43% from the shop downstairs, which was some prints that we make, but it was the Yoshida prints, the Doi Hunger prints, the flea market, a real mix of stuff that we didn't make. That was 40-odd% of our revenue. That's gone now, and we've replaced it with subscriptions, which have to be made in this room. So we have actually now sort of a crisis coming up, and the crunch point is going to hit somewhere around September, October. We are now shipping out more prints each month than we are making, and it's almost double. We are shipping out double the number of prints we are making. And that's fine, because we've got a good stock of them. We've all been working hard for years and years and years. We're, like keeping the printers employed. But we can't continue to ship double what we are making. That's not how the mathematics works. And the crunch is going to happen somewhere around September, October, just before gift season. So I don't know what to do. Aoyama-san, right now as we speak, Aoyama-san is in Kyoto. He is meeting with a printer down there. To see if we can get the guy to work for us for a bit. And I'm really nervous about that, but whatever. Okay, starting to speckle a bit. You see it? Not quite black enough there. Tiny bit of speckle in those crows. Let's hit that again. The reason I'm nervous about it is because two things. He is a traditional printer. He's been working here traditionally. So he's got his own ideas about what he thinks is good and bad. And without wanting to insult any specific person, much better. The standard method of printing for the 20th century reproduction printers has been not our style. They make too much thick, rich black lines. Registration is not so careful. The level really has declined over the 20th century. And they think this is normal. So what Aoyama-san now, he's taken 50 or 60 of our prints with him. And they're going to have their meeting this weekend. And they're going to phone me in from the meeting. They're going to show this guy the stuff. And Aoyama-san's going to straight up tell him, here's where we are. Our goal is to make prints that are as good as any that have ever been made before. You can laugh on the floor all you want, but this is our goal. If you want to sort of try this for us and work with us, we'll give this a go. And we're going to say this right up front. And he will think we're pretentious jerks. I'm okay. What are these guys from Tokyo trying to tell me how to do it? He will think that. But we want to make it clear right up front what we are trying to do. We don't always succeed, but we're trying to do that. And in return for that, we are going to pay him basically double what anybody else would pay. We're going to use the best paper in the country for this. But he's a long, long, long way away. I tried this a few years ago. No names. I tried it. We sent work when the portrait series took off and we didn't have enough printers, I sent some work to a Kyoto workshop and I had to throw it away. It sounds pretentious to tell a story like this. I'm sorry. It's just that we're trying to do something different from the way it's been done here. The general mood through the 20th century was that, oh, it's all over, it doesn't matter, it's just tourist stuff now. The good old days were the golden age and stuff like that. And we, heroic or not, whatever, we would like to think that the golden age is right now. We would like to try to do that. What's this here? The illustrious Kurokaze. You're living in Tokushima. A fresh artist carver. Whatever, I don't know who you are, what you're suggesting, write to me and let's phone and whatever, let's talk. I know my problem right now, there's two things involved here. One is we need printers right now. But of course they don't exist and you can't just parachute in and do this. So what we should be doing, and we've known this for years, what we should be doing is on these benches here, we should have trainees working from zero. We've got Patreon support, we've got trainee premium support. What we haven't been able to do is, one, find the time ourselves to do this and find the key people who would like to come here and train. So we should have been training. If I'd been doing this for the past 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't have a problem now. What would be sort of my dream situation is if in Japan, among the Japanese younger people, there were people like, for example, the Karen on our group here, or John Amos, people that were so interested in this, they have trained themselves to get really good at this, and then would maybe like some work. But in Japan, nobody has done this. Nobody has done this. Overseas, there are a number of people doing this. But if I don't get this sorted out, this is coming out nicely. This paper was misbehaving the other day. Those of you here who were on the Thursday stream as well, I don't know how obvious it was. I was struggling. This paper, I had thought it was moistened properly. It wasn't. It was too hard. And that pigment did not want to go inside it. But now, after re-moistening it on Thursday, and again, I checked this again yesterday to make sure it was okay for today, this paper is now soft and smooth. It's flat. It just wants to take that pigment right up. So today's printing is just whatever, piece of cake compared to what was happening on Thursday. I was struggling on Thursday. Got it done, but it's the kind of thing that if you go back like 40 years ago when I was first learning to do this, of course I didn't have the paper properly prepared most of the time because I didn't know the goal. So all the work you're doing during your first year or your second year, whatever, when there's nobody to guide you, all your work is hugely frustrating because like it's not working, but you don't know why it's not working. You try this and try that and try this. On Thursday, I knew exactly why it wasn't working. And I was able to fix it. What did I do? I switched to a stronger Baron. I pulled out the backing sheet because I needed to press harder than I needed, and I did it as a double impression instead of a single impression. So we got through it. But 40 years ago, I didn't know. Just whatever. It's speckled. How do you stop the speckle? Andy's here. Hello, hello. Someone saying, how about making a formal program after the pandemic? You know, it's really nothing related to the pandemic. You know, it's time. You know, a new face coming in here sitting, they have to be fed and nurtured. It's like having a baby in the house. It just eats all your time all of a sudden. You know, having a new printer training here, it's like having a baby in the house. Oops, a bit dry here. Actually, I say that, and there is an interesting thing about this. Just a second. When you think of having a new printer, if we did find somebody and they're going to start Monday, they're a beginner, whatever, they're going to come in here and do it. There's two ideas here. And Dave has been thinking, I don't want a new trainee here because we have to show him, here's your brush, here's what to do, here's how to hold it, we got to teach him all this stuff. But when I remember chatting with Kubota-san, one of our main outside printers, real printing machine, he has told stories about the old days when he was an apprentice. And that's not how it happened for him. For him, there was a workshop with people working all over the place. There's a bench. He was given a place. Hi, go in there, sit down. There was some paper sitting on the bench for it there. And the master just said, hi, there's the blocks, make the prints. And he didn't explain anything. Not even nothing, like not even what's going on. He didn't explain anything. And Kubota-san had to sort of look around, and the guy next to him might have said, a little bit or something like this if he was friendly, whatever. But there was no teaching of anything. Then Kubota-san, maybe he exaggerates a bit. At the end of the day, the guy came and said, show me the stuff you've made. And Kubota-san shows him this little stack of prints. And the guy just tears him up and says, you've got to be kidding me, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Tomorrow you'll be able to do it. And Kubota-san, you either survive this. It's the thing, throwing somebody in the deep end of the pool. They either die and drown or they start swimming. And maybe because this is the 21st century, I've been thinking if we need a new printer here, we've got to train them. Maybe what we should do is just do it that old way. Once we've identified somebody, you're going to start Monday, do this. And if they just don't know what to do and we're all silent and figure it out, what are they going to do? Maybe they're going to walk out. That's not the kind of person we want, because, So this isn't a joke. We're seriously thinking now of maybe trying it that way, not being hostile. Do it on your own. No, answering questions maybe if we can answer them while we're working. So not being hostile and not beating them up at all, but leaving them on their own. And one of two things will happen. They won't cut it, or they will cut it. And more I think about this, the more and more I'm thinking this might not be a bad idea. Because we don't have time to train people. And the other part of training people is answering their questions. This job, no matter how many years of experience you have, it's still a problem-solving job. This Thursday was a good example of this. I was printing on Thursday, problem came up. I can't ask anybody what to do. I've got to sit there and figure out, okay, maybe if I do this. And you need to be that kind of person. So even our experienced people still have to be able to say, okay, what am I going to do now? And if you're not that kind of person, if you want the answers from somebody else, help me, then I don't need you. So maybe I'm exaggerating, like no help or help too much. There's something in the middle. This is, as I said, this is the 21st century. This is not a slave workshop. But the idea to leave them alone as much as possible. So the germ of an idea is coming in place then. We're going to make a video about this in Japanese, aimed at younger Japanese people, maybe college dropouts or whatever, people who weren't able to get some steady employment for whatever reason, a bit of an individualistic type of character, and put a video out saying we're looking for these and see what happens. And imagine, say, for example, half a dozen people respond to this. We have a first stage meeting with them, identified one or two of them in that group who we think could do this. And there's two benches here, this bench and the one behind me. They're unused for about a year now. Aimi-san's off having her baby. Lei-chan is in Hong Kong. So these two benches are open and available. And try this. I don't know. Well, the training video, I mean, sort of that's already there to show. I mean, it's not like the old days when Kubota-san went into that workshop. He didn't even know like what stuff was. Now there's so much out there already, just our normal videos. We've got books, there's all kinds of information out there for people who actually, if they're stuck with this, what to do, you know. This is nice. I'm happy with this. It's still so much fun, you know. It's so simple, but it's just so much pleasure to pick up the piece of paper every time. And the paper's soft and moist and beautiful. It's just so much fun to do this, you know. I could sit here and do this quite happily all day long. Give me 1,000 sheets to make. Let me listen to some music in the background while I'm doing this, and I could happily do this all day long. Part of it is the pleasure of exercising a skill that you've learned over the years. It's a real mix of stuff. Part of it is the art. Part is also beautiful. It's a beautiful thing you're making. Here we are now. This is the before. Printed last Thursday. And there's the after. And there's 2 more colors to go here. Well, 1 more, maybe 2 more. Still haven't decided yet. I could do this all day. I did for years and years and years, you know, back in the Omi workshop before we started Mokuhankan. Day after day after day. All day, all day, all day, all day, all day. Day-long interview, review, practice at home. I don't know about practice at home. I don't think you can do this at home without tools and a workbench and pigments and stuff. Practice, I think, would have to happen here. I don't see how they can practice at home. What's in the white jar? I don't know. Just a minute. The white jar, the white jar. The white cup, you mean? It's paste. Again, already. Because the paper's wet, you know, there's a bit of oil on the back of the fiber here. But because the paper's wet, that oil disappears pretty quick. Okay, that's the first, that's 1/4 of this group. What is it now? It's 8:34. Okay, I'm going to keep going for sure. There are 64 sheets in here, 16 times 4. That's the first group of 16. And we don't stack all 64 sheets up at once. What I'm doing is 16 and newspaper, 16 and newspaper. That allows me, there's just as much bulk of paper as there is of the printing paper. And I can control the moisture by controlling it on the newsprint. Those sheets dried out just a little bit. They were out of here 30 seconds each, and they dried out a little bit during that time. let's go. All right, what I'll do then, it's 8:35. We've got a show and tell at 9:15. Let me do one more group of 16. Then I'll switch over to another color and go back to the beginning and put the second color on that. It'll be more interesting. Rather than just the whole stream today, just be this one color again and again and again and again. Yeah, the idea about your own tools, some of these tools are expensive. You can't demand that the beginner trainee who isn't even sure he's going to get hired, we can't demand that. We're looking at maybe 60,000, 70,000 yen for this. You need 2 or 3 of them. I'm saying $600-700 for a good one of these. The brushes, you need good brushes to get good results. They can't be bought. So the idea of having them practice at home on their own stuff to see how serious they are, that really is it's a non-starter. What happens here, Ishikawa-san now, she's been with us for 10 years or so. At the beginning she had no tools, she used all the workshop tools, but bit by bit by bit, she accumulated her own. She's got her own baron, her own this, her own this. So she buys her own tools as she moves forward. But at the beginning on day one, it's not practical at all. The other problem here, not to sort of just list problems, but another reason that this is difficult training people is that in the old days, if you go back 100 years or so, any given workshop had many people working at different levels. It had older guys down to new trainees. And the jobs that came into them from outside, there was top-level jobs, medium-level jobs, and simple jobs. I mean, back in the old days, they printed food wrappers and stuff. So a beginner that came into a workshop back then, there was actual work for him from day one. Printing food wrappers didn't matter if the registration was off. It's just going to go out in the food and get thrown away straight away. So there was work for the day one person right from the beginning. And then there was work, he then worked with a local stationery store. They made those pochibukuro, those little envelopes that were printed to show. We've seen many of those. There was work at many different levels before you got to the top level ukiyo with the delicate hair and all that kind of stuff. These days, that doesn't exist. Every print that we send out of here in our subscription series is really a high-level, top-level print. And that's our problem. We've got nothing at the bottom, almost, and then we're expecting our printers to be able to jump right to the top. We have no ladder of different work available. And I've known this, and not something that's just come up right now. We've known this, and we've tried over the years to produce work of different kind of levels. We have those chibi heroes. That's, stage 2, stage 3, whatever number you want to put on it. And that's another part of this problem of getting people in as trainees. We can give them the food wrappers, which we don't sell, whatever, for the first week, and then what do you do then? There's nothing that they're going to be able to use for their first year until they're good enough to be able to put work out that we can sell. That's fine. That's what Patreon and Trainee Premium are for. We can help and pay these people. But what do I give them for work? It's a real conundrum, And it's much worse with the carving. Much worse with the carving. With a printer, you can get your batch of paper as you work through this bit by bit by bit. And on your first day, whatever, you're going to start with this batch of paper. That's no good. Throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. Oh, that one looks okay, okay. Throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. With a printer, you can cull bit by bit by bit. You get some good ones in your batch. With a carver, you can't do that. The block is no good because you simply don't know how to carve smooth lines. So throw it away. Start another one. There's no in-between stage for the carver. It's either, yep, we can sell that, or no, we can't sell it. And the printers have the advantage that way. Match label sets, my God, that's top. It's so difficult. The ones we made just now, the yokai ones are okay. That's stretched Ishikawa-san, It's not simple because it's small. It's more difficult because it's small. So shrines and temples, yep, maybe this is an idea, yeah. I mentioned before, we talked about this on Thursday, that I did try the food wrapper thing with a local confectionery store, and we sold absolutely nothing. But yeah, the idea is still viable, I think. The other part of this, just suppose, okay, we got a couple of trainees here, they're doing okay, and suppose we got the food wrapper thing going, and a shop, whatever, somewhere down the street, tourist area, they decided to buy our food wrappers, and they sold like hotcakes, and the trainees make food wrappers, and they sell like hotcakes. Then what do we do? Okay, the trainer does not want to make food wrappers all his life. He wants to try something. Okay, we give him a bit different. The food wrapper, the company calls, hey, we need more food wrappers. I'm sorry, wait a minute, we're busy doing something else. I don't know. And then running the place. This part of the reason why I really haven't done this yet is still, who's going to manage this? Who's going to manage all this? Having one or two trainers here, that's fine. That's two more people now I have to feed. I don't mean money feeding, I mean work feeding. I got to get blocks ready, got paper ready, do sizing. It's two more people that I have to manage. So, we're at some critical stage of growth between being a little tiny company and being an ongoing smooth organization that has all these things that flow through. And I don't know how to make the transition from one to the other. I don't know. Basically, I just need a manager, I think. I need a big manager. What about reaching out to art schools? I don't know. I know our experience with that, and we have had over the years, even going back 10, 12 years ago when the Ukiwe Heroes started, we had five young ladies incoming all at once in 2011 and 2012. And no names here, I know, but among the group of incoming was at least one person from an art school. And the people from the art schools, they want to be an artist. They want to make their own art. They want to make pictures. And what we need is not artists here. We've got artists. What we need are people who will do what I'm doing right now. Just make 200 prints and then do 200 more and then do 200 more. We need craftsmen. E-Myth, how to scale up a company. Okay, I'll have a look. If you've got a link, send me a link in a mail if you would, or put a link here. I am absolutely 100% willing to admit that I am struggling here, absolutely struggling. Someone says here, you might have to step back and manage a little. Make Pokemon prints and people will come. Been there, done that. I think we have people here who don't know our background. Don't know. We have made Pokemon prints, and that's part of our problem. That's part of what made us so big. It's not sales we need, it's workers we need. Did I have the same profession when I was living in the UK? I left the UK when I was 5 years old. I'm a legal UK citizen, but I'm not a cultural UK citizen. What are they called? Citizens? I don't know. What's the word over there? So I'm legally British, but not culturally. I grew up in Canada. This paper is in such nice condition today, such nice condition. Another philosophical video. At the moment, not really, no. The next video will be in the series about how I got into this. It'll be Beginnings Part 3, and it's going to cover the years of the Hundreds Poets series. That's the next video for me. After that, the next one will be another David's Choice video talking about old prints in the collection. But there is something else cooking in the background, the idea about the philosophical stuff, the general conversation, the general talk. We've mentioned this before. There is another project cooking together with Taran-san, the young carver who is here from Britain working. And I've been a bit too busy this week to even think about moving that forward. But there is another project coming forward in that vein. But just don't hold your breath. Oh, speaking about eggs, I don't know who's here, who isn't here. On Thursday, was it Thursday, we had this thing about the left-hand printing, or it was the day before, I can't remember. And Tom 1060 here made a good suggestion, and I'm sure he got an egg or two in the stream, but also Tom 1060 here has been in contact with us, and he's going to get more than a this was a really big suggestion, so he's going to get something for it, and he knows about it. But somebody else made a suggestion. And I missed this completely. I missed this going through in the conversation. Somebody else made a suggestion about something. Oh yeah, it was the camera settings, how to find the camera settings. And we did get the camera fixed. And I didn't catch that it had come from a suggestion in the stream, and somebody was like saying, where's my egg? In a friendly, happy way. And I completely missed this. So is that person here today? I don't know. I don't even remember the name. I'm sorry. 石川さん、話ありますが、今プレス入れたんですね。僕全然知らなかったんですが、先日すぐさまやったんでしょ。プレス入れて座って地図入れたんです。ちょっといい、excuse me this minute, speaking Japanese here. あれは無理よ。
無理？
いい？
ずっと座ってた。
そうなの。だから
膨らんじゃうか。
髪が伸びますよ。これだけじゃなくて髪がロールの間にチュッチュッチュッチュッ伸びますよ。1ミリぐらい長くなりますよ。すぐおまん入れて髪がリラックス小さくなりますよ。だから今の最近の問題は色斑が出てる。この問題でしょ。だからトンさんの彫りじゃない。色斑の彫りはパーフェクトですが、今髪をストレッチおまん入れて2日の間に髪が戻りますから、そうすると色斑が出てる。で全然知らなかった当日でプレスやったんですね。僕ずっと私がやった時に、そうじゃあ僕逆ですね。プレス入れて絶対当日は触らないです。今までの私のやり方で今そっか。だからその問題でしょ。色斑が
でもそれ今回だけじゃないの？出てるっていう。
だから今その
でもずっとやってきたから今まで。
そうだからでも最近この高い作品ですね。横のものじゃなくてこの縦の作品がいつも上の空が出てるとか、さっき地面も出てますね。長寿遊びの何て言いますか、羅漢じゃなくて
もうどうする？
そうそれも出たんでしょ。色斑が上にだから看板の上に白が出たんです。だから重斑がリラックス。
じゃあ今日これで終わり。
本当にベスト方法は当日じゃないですよ。本当にごめんね。今の時間がどうかな。でも絶対 紙が長くなったんです。
確かにね、膨らむこ
そう
うなるよね。
そう、と今の問題は今までなぜ、絶対このケースの完成ですよ。
でも私だけがおかしいの。
のすぐさんも、
菅さんプレスしてないかって
昨日弁慶橋プレス入れて座ったんですね。やったんですよ。すぐさん何当日？
そうだって私が聞いたから、私がいつもほらまた膨らみが戻っちゃうから、もうその日にやってるって言ったんですよ。でも普通の長寿遊びはなってないですよね、菅ちゃんしてないからプレス。私だけがいつも出てるなら、完全にその問題だけど、どうですか？
そのせいです。そうだから今やったんですが、だから1時間でも大丈夫か今もしね、予定は今日おもはんだけでしょ、だからもし1時間2時間だけとか、それから紙はちょっと遊ぶ言葉でできないんですが、紙はちょっとはいちょっとはいとか、紙がリラックスそれは助かるかもしれない。
少し時間を置いてってことね。
そうですね。そうだから絶対明日までは全然問題ないですが、多分もう何分も OK かもしれない。だから
すぐはね。
そう、もしちょっと遊んで座っていいよ
じゃあお昼ぐらいから
とか、もう1時間とか、
少しここで
そうすると助かりますと思いますよ。ごめん、全然知らなかった。僕考えたんですけど、プレス、それから冷凍庫入れて、次。
了解。
Sorry, excuse me, guys. Just there was something I had to talk to you about it. 今チャットからデーブ。だから話の中に時々水ちょっと入れてください。あの人たちがよくわかりますからさ。そうかな。だから横もかな。横も
少しほっとくわまずとりあえず少しね。
Okay, thanks for your picture, guys. Sorry, thank you. Okay, what we were talking about there was it's the press. We have an etching press here in the back room there. And we use, not with every job we're doing, I didn't use it for this job. Sometimes before we start the actual printing, we run the paper through an etching press. Moderately, not super high pressure, but moderately. And we do this for a few reasons. The paper that we get these days, and again, I'm not talking about the inkjet paper here today. The paper we get from our Living National Treasure, it's really good paper, it's really strong paper, but these days we sometimes have a problem. The top surface of the washi paper, do I have a sheet? The top surface of the washi paper sometimes is really quite rough. It's the way they dry it. If they dry it on boards that are not perfectly smooth, then the top surface has a bit of roughness. And if the top surface is rough, to exaggerate, it has, there's high parts and low parts. It's not completely flat. A modern piece of copy paper that you'd run through your laser printer or something is pretty much completely flat. It's come off big steel rollers and stuff. But this paper, because it's been dried on boards in the sunshine, it has ups and downs. So when we go put this on our board to print, when we rub from the back, the ups and downs, the up part touches the color, it does, and that's one reason why sometimes the color would come out speckled because the paper hasn't been nice and flat. So what we like to do recently, if we've got a job that we really want nice smooth color, and if the paper is quite a bit rough, we run it through an etching press. And that's what she did this morning with this batch of paper. We put the paper in a Mylar folder, put it on the press bed, a metal press bed, put the blanket on top and run it through. It's already been moistened, and it comes out beautifully smooth, flat, and moist, ready for printing. Before we had an etching press, what we used to do was we used to call urabaren. We had a blank piece of wood. Our moistened piece of paper goes on the block, and we just use our tool to rub the back of the paper onto the block to press it flat, the same thing. So now we use the etching press because we don't want to wear out our tools, and also just it's common sense. It makes a nice, beautiful job. The downside to it is that the paper does also, not just becomes a smooth surface, it also becomes flattened. So if we have embossing, if there's a print with really rich and deep embossing, that would be screwed up. You can still emboss it, but it won't be as deep as before. Here's one. This sheet has been run through the press before it was printed, and we can still get this level of embossing. If we're careful, if we don't put too much pressure on the press. If we really cranked it up, the paper would become too thin, and it wouldn't be nice for printing anyway. So, but what's gone on today is that she has put it through the press just now, and she has come back to her desk here thinking, okay, get started with the printing. And I didn't know this is the way they were doing it, because the way I did it in myself in the old days, I would do it through the etching press, put the paper away, and come back the next day. And I didn't realize that the ladies up here had been doing it. Press it, print it, press it, print it. And the problem is that when we run it through the etching press, it doesn't just make it flat. The roller is there, and the roller is pushing, 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 and the paper as it goes under the roller gets stretched a tad. Now, people who are doing actual etchings, they know about this. Etching paper gets stretched a bit. So it needs a chance to what's the word? It needs a chance to rebound. It needs a chance to shrink back. And we have been having trouble. On the 4th month's print, we had the situation was as we were doing the test printing, putting the colors in, the colors were too big for the key block. And I'm like, they're Karpai Chonsan. He's crazy fanatic about getting this correct. What's wrong? What's wrong? And the reason is they had printed the key block on paper that was stretched. Then overnight it shrinks 0.02 millimeters or something. Then you try and print the color blocks, and the color blocks are now too big. And that's exactly the problem we've been having. So she is now going to do something else for a few hours while this paper has a chance to shrink back down. Print studios around the world, I'm not sure what to say. There isn't. There's nobody that does what we do. I mean, there are a couple of other places in Japan working. The Adachi workshop is still here. Watanabe has a couple of printers. This is a very specialized job. There are other people out there now doing this kind of printing. Jed at Ukiyo Heroes, he is nurturing this and hiring them. We have Steve Winiecki is doing this. William Francis in England is learning this, working very well. But those people are not interested in becoming my employees, that's for sure. Steel Watanabe's printers, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. I gotta be careful what I say, but no thanks. And actually, they have the same problem. They have 2 old dudes there, and they have nobody young. No, I was thinking somebody's suggesting art schools. We're talking about 2 different things, né? What I'm doing right now is not making art. This is a manufacturing job. This is a factory. This Mokuhankan workshop here is not an art shop. This is a factory. So, raid the trade schools, yes, so. I haven't been watching outside at all. Has it been the normal stuff? It's a Saturday morning. Have we had the Oshibori truck and the garbage truck and stuff coming? I don't know. I haven't been watching at all. I'm sorry. Too much going on for me this morning. What's that truck? Hang on. What's he supplying? I don't think it's Oshibori. Company name. Where's he going? He's going to, that's a coffee shop? No. Ah, okay. That's the, okay. Look at this. He's got the key to the shutter. Oh, the shutter wasn't even locked. Don't tell anybody, the shutter wasn't locked. That's a restaurant. They advertise from mountains to sea. It's a classical Japanese restaurant, and they're doing menus that will have something from the mountains and something from the sea on their menu each time. And they sell high quality sake. It's a little bit of an upscale place. I've never been in there. Too much smoke. It's full of cigarette smoke, but whatever. So this could be delivery of, I have no idea. It could be fish. It could be meats. I've got no idea. It's a general food supplier. Whatever, the shutter's open. I'm sure the door inside is locked. So he's just put the food in its plastic styrofoam box. He's put the food inside the shutter. And it's 9 o'clock. The people, they do lunch there, so that maybe the staff will be here at 10 o'clock or something. I don't know. They can still smoke, they can indeed. It's changing a lot. The last couple of years have seen a dramatic change. And indeed, many of the restaurants on this street now have turned to non-smoking. But it's not compulsory. The new restaurant that opened up next to us just the last couple of months ago, excuse me, they are a non-smoking restaurant. They have an ashtray outside. The cafe across the street has now switched to non-smoking. So it's coming. Finally, it's coming. It's been many, many, many years. It's coming. No, the thing on your face, I mean, this, unless you never take a shower, right? I mean, in the old days, whatever, guys, the workers in the old days, they got it mostly from here. They pick it up off their head. Because 2 things. One is people were not, showering every morning. And 2 is, it was quite often common to use the camellia oil for your hair. In fact, when we buy the camellia oil, the packaging says how to use it on your hair. It's meant for ladies to use on their hair. So that's where you get the oil from. As far as getting off your face, if you haven't been to a shower for a while, then maybe you can get enough oil from your skin. I don't know. I can't imagine. I could not do that. Even I've got lots of hair and a beard. I could not do without this. There's no way there's going to be enough on my skin to work. I'm sorry. It's a nice thing to show in some YouTube videos. We don't do it that way, and we will never do that. I think it's pretentious, but whatever. Oh, 9:05. What's? Wait. We were going to do 2 colors. I was going to do half of these and then flip back to the next color and do the next half. What should we do here? What shall we do? This is the problem with Twitch streaming when there's printing going on, you know. When there's carving, the schedule totally doesn't matter. I just carve and talk and carve and talk, and we pick up the next day where we left off. But with printing, I have to schedule this stuff. I've got to get through this stuff, you know. This was supposed to be finished Friday. Yeah, these are the 2021 share certificates, 906. Okay, tell you what, let's try this then. What if I do this? And I'll... The idea about printing the second color today, the other color, the gray one, let's put that on a rain check. And what I'll do is after the stream's finished today, I will finish off the black birds, and then I'll put it in the freezer. I've got lots of other things to do Sunday, and then Monday morning, let's do this. Let's just keep printing Monday morning with the next color. It's no big deal. You're happy if I do a 3rd printing stream in a row to show? So let's do this. I'll just keep going on this thing until show and tell time. Then I'll just leave it here. We'll do show and tell. After the stream's over, I'll get my coffee break. I'll come back and finish the black, put it in the freezer, and on Monday, the next stream, Sunday night for you guys, we'll pick up with color number 3. So it'll be just 3 streams. Color number 1, color number 2, color number 3. That's cool. I think we're okay with that. And there's no deadline for these. The Always staff is not waiting to ship these. These are going to Patreon supporters. And they've been waiting for a year. They can wait like 2 more days. That's okay. Patreon people, who cares? They can wait. No, really. No, really. I think they will be happy to have one printed by David, so I think it's okay. Okay, if we do it this way then, good. Okay, so there will be a show and tell today. So let's do this. Let me give you a, let me paste something into the stream. Let me paste something into the stream about the show and tell. And you can do some research while we're moving forward here. Just let me go to my memo page here. Okay. This is the name of a kabuki. Here we are. Oh, it all came together. The Japanese title there, and then the reading in hiragana. First character is Shimo Yono Kane Juji no Uji Ura. It's a kabuki play, and I think we're looking at the late 1800s or so. I don't know. And we're going to look at some books today. And the content of these books is about this drama, this story drama that was made into a kabuki play and also published as a series of novels, a 5-volume series of novels. So if someone's got some time, do a bit of Googling there. I can't see here, you know, I've got my fogged up. What is this? Actually, the way to do this, take just the first 7 characters there, put them in Google, and a Wikipedia page comes up for that story. And the Wikipedia page may have an English version. So it's the first 7 characters here. Should I do it? Go to my first open browser tab, PDP code checker. Yeah, right. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's no English page. Soka. Here's the Wikipedia page for the story, but it doesn't have a link to an English. Block's a bit dry. I wonder why. The light is so much better. I had that reflection on the last stream. I'm really sorry about that. You know, just so many things to keep in mind. Audio too. Has the audio been normal today? Yeah, sounds fine. Everything's fine when it's fine until it's not. I don't know. This paper is in such nice condition today, you know. Such nice condition. It's so much pleasure when the paper's in good condition, you know. Just you can go all day long. If there's one key to this work, well, there's no question about it. There's one key. It's a nice quality paper in proper condition, and that's it. You're just set for life. You can just happily go forever and ever and ever. Smooth blue. Smooth black. you can just go forever and ever and ever. Ah, 9:15. Okay, height. We interrupt this program. We interrupt this program to bring you a word from okay, how about you do this? I gotta move the camera. Moving the camera. Let's do it. Earthquake coming. Gonna move the camera here. Okay, let's see. Okay, what we have here is a little old folio that I got years and years ago from one of the shops in Jimbocho. This is not something recent that I picked up on Yahoo Auctions. It's a little folio, and it dates from sometime in the Meiji era. What it does, this is homemade. Somebody back there got some woodblock prints, and to keep them, he pasted them into a little album. You can buy these albums, even nowadays, you can buy them in stationery stores, upper class stationery stores. They've got a nice little fabric cloth cover, and they're just ready. I mean, it's like a scrapbook, whatever. Every culture has these. They're little blank books that you can write in, draw in, paste in, do whatever you want with. So this is from the Meiji. Somebody had some woodblock prints, and he pasted them into this album. And he even made a nice little cover for it. Tsukiyoka Yoshitoshi something something Cho. Looks like Nishiki. Oh, Nishikie Cho. I should have been able to read this right away. Tsukioka Yoshitoshi. He's one of the famous designers. And it's Nishikie, which is the general word for like ukiyo-e prints, colorful prints. And then Cho, collection, book of, Denwa Cho, a book of phone numbers. This is a Nishikie Cho. And the last two I can't read. Looks like Shiki, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, what it is the guy had some novels. And maybe after reading the novel or whatever, tossed them out, whatever. But before tossing them out, these were little paper. They were like our version of paperback books these days. This is the Edo version or Meiji version of a paperback book. I'll show you the actual books in a moment. But what he did was he took the covers, just ripped the cover off, and he pasted them into this little album. Now the way the books came, books in the old days were always done as sets and series. I mean, there were such things as single books, of course, but what I mean is there were also books published in sets and series. And what they did was, when you had book 1 and book 2 and book 3, it was really common that they made the cover pictures, book 1, book 2, book 3, it was really common to make the cover pictures as a sort of a panorama. This one is book 4, and it even goes on maybe book 5 or whatever, I don't know. So the cover pictures, when you read book 1 and book 2 and book 3, actually were an extended single picture. So this guy, what he did for these Yoshitoshi novels, after he threw the books away, he tore the covers out and he stuck them into this book. So what we have here are the cover pictures from 5 volumes of the story that I pasted into the stream a little bit earlier. This must be, where are we here? It doesn't say have a number, so this would be book 1. Then the next page, when we're going to go through this, he's got a book here. This is book 2, this next one here. So this is the front covers from volume 1, and he's also put inside the frontispiece pictures. And they're printed in Aizuri, blue. Then it's volume 2, and away we go. So we have a whole bunch of prints here that have been scrapbooked from some Yoshitoshi books. And even though they're book covers, how can we see this? Can we see? Look. We have the usual thing. We have our total Meiji overview of this stuff. And they've just dumped everything in the kitchen sink in here. Because this is the book cover, it's trying to catch people's attention in the bookstore. They want people to buy these things. So we're looking at drama, we're looking at color, we're looking at bling here. And what these people are doing, what the story is, I don't have a clue. I haven't been able to find an English précis of the novel here, so I don't know what the story is. It's people doing stuff. I don't know what it is. And inside, we don't have full color. The full color was just for the front cover. They've got to keep control of their costs here. But inside, we have a tinted version. Whether it's the same 3 characters or not, I don't have any idea. No idea what's going on. This is drama, drama, drama. This is melodramatic stuff. Melodramatic stuff. And it's Yoshitoshi, and Yoshitoshi's faces. I don't know about Yoshitoshi's faces. This is, the book has been destroyed. The book has been worm-eaten. So the books were perhaps pretty much at the end of their life. And this guy, before tossing them out, this guy decided to save the front cover pictures. And I don't know Yoshitoshi's faces. This is the era when ukiyo-e is breaking down. We had these conventions of drawing ukiyo-e faces, and that's now changing under the influence of portrait photography. And I myself, I'm not really a fan of Yoshitoshi's faces here, but whatever. Ishikawa-san's saying, oh, I don't have my mask. She's gone to the other room. Ow. It's okay. And that uniform, I'm not sure if that's a student's uniform or a naval uniform. I don't know. Again, I have no idea what the story is here. Ready to draw the sword, denouement. This is total, absolute melodrama, obviously, absolute melodrama. This story was staged on the Kabuki stage, but this is the novel, the actual novel, 5 parts. I said 5 parts, but it's 1, 2, 3. So it's actually 15 books to make up this novel that you buy. And they're woodblock prints. Can you imagine now going to the bookstore? We buy paperback books now, just cheap paperbacks, read them and toss them, read them and toss them. Or if such things exist anymore, I don't know. But back in this day, the paperback books were made completely out of woodblock printmaking. Okay, now instead of just going through these cover pictures, let's just flip quickly through. I want to show you the actual real books. So there we go, that's volume 4. This guy pasted them in the wrong way around. Volume 1, volume 2. This is volume 5. Where's volume 3? Here's volume 3. So they go on and on and on and on. Let's put this away just for a minute. because it's going to be more interesting to show you the way the actual books work. We've done this before in a David's Choice video, but for those of you who haven't seen that sort of thing, just a taste of this today. This is how the actual books looked. They're very light, they're very thin, they're bound with thread. And everything you see, every single thing you see, from the cover to the back cover to the text inside, is all done with woodblock printmaking. You've watched me print a black color for the past hour or so. A block thing like this is also printed the same way. The block is carved and then printed. So the entire production was done with woodblock prints. Any idea on how long one of these books would take a Japanese person to read? I don't know. An hour, a couple of hours, or whatever. I don't know. Reading one page, ja 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 ja. Maybe one page is 10, 15 minutes, and there's usually 12 pages in these books. Maybe it's an hour's read. I don't know. I'm sorry. No idea. And it's in hentai gana, which is mostly, it looks like hiragana, but there's a bunch of light kanji mixed in. This is not the Chinese classics. These are the just common people. You know, people who hadn't gone to school would still be able to read this. And the easy thing is they're mostly aimed at women, stuff like that, who hadn't been trained. Women didn't go to the school in those days. Then the key point, and we'll link to this video at the end of this. I've made a YouTube video about this. The hugely interesting point on these is that what you see here is not a single woodblock print. What you're seeing here is two separate woodblock prints and two separate wood blocks. So one picture was not carved on one wood block, and that's because of the way of the binding. Let's look at this one. I've taken this one apart. This is the one I took apart to make that David's Choice video. So here's the same book volume with the string removed. Let's put it down here and just open it at random to anywhere. Okay, again, what looked like a single picture is actually not. It's two wood blocks. Let me take this apart. Find one that I can take apart. They're all so fragile here. I've got to be careful with this. Okay, then this one looks like it's already open. Here we go. Okay, there's one picture, but this one, there is a single woodblock print. The paper is so thin we can't possibly print on both sides. So there's one wood block and one print. And you know where we're going with this. We have the same thing here. There is another wood block print. So when they're making the plan for the books, the left side picture of one spread goes on the right part of this block. The right-hand picture of the spread goes on the left side of this block. So this is one wood block print. And how do they sort them out? There's a number. This is 6. It's the title of the book, page 6. This one is the title of the book, page 5. So the printers just printed. Then in the back room somewhere, a bunch of the people in the staff take these finished woodblock prints, fold them up, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, blah, 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 blah. They lay them all in place and then get their thread and sew it together. And one more super interesting thing about these books is the flow of the text around the page. Let's find an example. Here we go. Because the text has been put around the picture, how do you read? Normal reading is you start top right, you would read down the page, moving across to the left. But because this text and picture have been so mixed up, you have no idea where to go. So they have given hints. You know to start at the top corner. You start reading, you keep going down, 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 until you run out. And now, where do you go? there is a symbol. Do you see it? It looks like a little snowman. We look around for a little snowman. Ah, no, I see what they've done. Okay. This is continued. You read here, continuing down here, across to the right, and now you get to your little snowman, and that tells you you jump back to this guy. And you would read across till you get to this symbol. You look around and you jump back up to here, where you have the same symbol. You read down, we've got a white, black triangle, white, black triangle. Read here, a little black and white gourd, black and white gourd. You read across, it's got a little indeterminate thing here. Where does that take you to? I can't find it. Oh, it goes up. This one jumps up to here. Down we go until we get to the end. It's hugely, hugely fun. I can't read this, and any normal Japanese can't read this. If I pass this over to Ishikawa-san and said, read this one, please, she's going to look at me like I got a hole in my head. It's just changed so much. But if we had a calligraphy teacher here who would sit here and say, no problem, this calligraphy teacher then read this to us, both Ishikawa-san and I would understand the story. So the language is the same. It's the way they have been writing it, the physical characters used to write the language that have been adapted and changed over the years. So we know this Japanese. It would be old-fashioned. It would be like hearing Shakespeare, something like this. It won't sound the same as a modern person, but we would be able to understand it. But no normally educated Japanese, high school, college, you name it, whatever, they can't read this. So it's not strange for Dave to sit here and say, I'm sorry, I don't know how to read this, because neither can a normal educated Japanese person. They're great, great fun. When I did the video about these before, I talked about this, and I'm a bit frustrated because I'd like to know what's going on. It looks so interesting. It looks like so much fun. Actually, it's not actually all that interesting. A bunch of these, not this one I'm holding right now, but a bunch of this type of novel have been translated. There's a big fat volume put out by Columbia University, which is literally thick. It's about 6-7 centimeters thick, of this type of book translated into modern English. When you just grab a random page, I got to tell you, it really isn't, it's not all that interesting. It's as schlocky, as melodramatic, and as the plots are just, oh my God, I can't believe anybody would actually ask the viewer to read this. So this is not Shakespeare. This is not literature. This is absolute trash novels. But man, they look like fun. One day, I guess we're probably not so far from it actually, one day, this is probably already happening now, reading this is certainly something that could be handled by a scanner with a good AI and a few years of decades of training. You tell me whatever. So this could be done. There are probably people doing this already. I'm not hip to this. You get it translated into modern Japanese by the AI, and then from that point on, we can just hit the normal Google translation. So probably actually, in the not too far distant future, we are going to be able to read some of these. Probably. Just hang in there for a while. So don't get upset about me because I cut these strings. When we get them, they're like this. Look, this string is already broken. People back in the day, the strings broke within minutes after buying the book. Everybody would just get string and tie it in there by themselves. So for me to take this apart for demonstration and showing, no, we buy these books and sell them in our shop, and the first thing we do is we replace the strings. So please don't anybody get angry at me because I'm destroying an old, wonderful Edo era book. It's maintenance. Put a new string on. So there we have it. There we have it. There we have it. We have tons of these in the collection. Tons of these. They're so much fun. We've also got a couple. Just one last thing. We also have a few here. We have some, and I'm not going to open this and show you, we have some unopened books that survived. I said they came in sets of 3 like this. Some books came in a set of 2. It would be a set of 2, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. and they came in a wrapper. And this is an example, and I am not going to take this out because this is like from 1885, unwrapped Mario Kart Nintendo, whatever. This is unwrapped and unopened from back in the day. You can see the books are in there somewhere. I am not about to open this and take them out. But there's the wrapper. The guy who bought it would just open the wrapper, toss it out, read the books, and away they go. And some of these, a very, very, very few, have survived. I got a bunch of these a while back on Yahoo Auction. The guy didn't know what he had found. He didn't realize. He just put them up and said, old stuff, buy it. And I bid on it, and it wasn't a few thousand yen or something. And we have 4 of these unopened from the Meiji time. I'd love to know what's inside, but I can't open them to find out, and I am not going to open them. Someday, whatever, one of my grandsons is going to put this on auction and score 7 figures for it. I have no idea. I don't care. Cool. Very, very, very rare. Not really worth anything, but very, very rare. Okay, there we have it. That's enough for today. So, okay, let's wrap it up there then. As I said, no, not a tail. I didn't. Was it a tail of Genji? Actually, that's so. Somebody has seen. Somebody's recognized. These are the Genji Mon. And I do not believe this is a tail of Genji itself. I'm sorry, I don't. Yura Hifu no Omotsuke. I don't know. I'm guessing that it's actually probably nothing to do with the Genji Monogatari. I don't know why the patterns are here. I'm sorry. Dave's knowledge of the internal literary content of these books is 0. I pretend to nothing. I don't know anything about this. There are people who dedicate their lives to that stuff. That's not my cut. My cut is printing this thing. Okay, here we are. We're out of here. So that's the plan. I will now finish my black printing today. I'll get a cup of coffee now, do some other desk work, and then finish this tonight, freeze it, and I'll be back here Monday morning, Sunday night for you guys with the continuation of this printing. We will be printing block number 3 on this print. We'll finish off. I'll put up the outside. I'll put up the outside here, put it up, leave it running for 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll sign off. See you Monday morning. Sunday night, whenever. Oh, there's the chains. The hot dog stand is getting ready to start work. They are claiming the sidewalk in that place. Not actually so cool, but what are you going to do? Saturday morning. It's going to be busy out there today, you know. It's going to be busy. Last night the bars were just jam-packed. Jam-packed. The pole you see here, this is the same pole that we normally see as a floater. This is the top end of it. The white flower, it's in Japanese it's called Hanamizuki. This is the top of it. This is the tree that's in front of our shop. It's a Hanamizuki, and I think it's a kind of dogwood. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The blue awning across the street, of course, it's Tokyo's #1 whale restaurant. I have not eaten there. Don't intend to. And actually, you can see in the stream here one of Asakusa's most famous tourist spots. Look at the blue awning for the whale. Just to the right of it, there's a pole, the red Olympic flag, and then there's the comedian picture. And the comedian picture has no picture. This is one blank spot on the street, and the lettering on it says, Yoyakuzumi, reserved. That spot is reserved for a comedian, a special guy. They asked to put his picture up, and he said, over my dead body. So they said, okay, we'll wait. And a few days after he dies, his picture will be coming up in that spot. And he's a very, very famous person. And this is a famous Asakusa tourist spot. The guys coming by with the rickshaw carts always stop here, and they tell the story. Look at this, it says Yoyakuzumi. Do you know who it's reserved for? And the tourists all say, no, who? And he tells them. Okay, signing off here. Thanks very much for watching. And I'll be curious to get any feedback about the audio. It seems that it's been all right, but I don't know. Okay, signing off. See you in a couple of days. Bye for now.